Turkish Airlines Euroleague. I feel devotion.
In this episode, all the action from Turkish Airlines Euroleague regular season week 3. Zalgiris still undefeated, along with Maccabi, Barca and Cesca, 2 MVPs from Spain. A legend, Božidar Maljković, is back on a Euroleague bench. We have the most exciting game of the season so far, Unicaja Montepaschi, and of course the top 3 of the week. Sheldon Williams is a strange rookie, not just because he celebrated his 29th birthday recently, but also because he has been tutored for life in Europe and the Euroleague by 2 very special people. As Euroleague basketball fans, you are familiar with the initials AP. Anthony Parker was one of the most exciting players for Maccabi Tel Aviv, a 2-time Euroleague winner and season MVP. Anthony has a sister, Candace, who's one of the most dominant players in women's basketball and a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. And Candace just happens to be married to Sheldon, Elan Shalon Susaon's new centre. That's why playing in Europe is a great opportunity for Williams to further his basketball career, but also remain closer to his family.
First thing I do in the morning is I get on my phone and I Skype my wife and daughter. Coming to this team, I mean, obviously I don't know the schedule with it being my first year, come over here and going through things, but, hopefully I'm able to see my wife and daughter during this time. Otherwise I won't be able to see them for 9 months.
It's unusual to have a couple of relatives like the Parkers, but they are probably the reason why he finally decided to come and play in the old continent. Anthony, who was included in the Euroleague's top 50 contributors, has a lot of stories to tell about Euroleague, and Sheldon has been a good listener.
It was just something that we talked about, based on the stories from my brother-in-law of how he played in the Euroleague. That was something I wanted to experience. I got intrigued by, Euroleague when me and him got to know each other, and then it kind of took from there.
Everyone knows the importance of having an efficient big man down low. That's why Elan Shalon called on him in order to have a great inside weapon to rely on. Williams started the competition averaging a double-double in the first 2 games before facing one of Europe's greatest basketball clubs, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, whose fans were absolutely crazy for his brother-in-law in our game of the week.
He basically told me how, fans were in Maccabi. He didn't really say too much about any other teams. He just told me about experiences in Maccabi and how he enjoyed it and how he loved it. So
the French fans and his new teammates expect him to demonstrate his skills on the floor. The Parker siblings belong to basketball's all-time greats, while the pupil Sheldon is ready to prove himself on the biggest European stage, bringing what he does best.
We're all 3 different players. My wife, she's a dominant player in the women's game, and Anthony, he was a 3-point specialist. With me, I'm more of a low post, kind of banger. Rebounder, play defense, that type of guy. So we're all 3 different players. We bring, 3 different things to the table when we come out there to the court and play.
The game against Maccabi Electra proved to be a cruel European lesson for Sheldon Williams. He experienced how strong a good European basketball team can be. The Yellows dominated the contest, building up almost a 30-point lead early in the second quarter. Shalon were incapable of reacting. The Israeli powerhouse gave the newcomers the toughest of welcomes, demonstrating that the road to Euroleague success is long and hard. The French will take this as a learning experience, while Maccabi Electra remain undefeated in Group B, triumphing 90-61 behind our player of the game, David Logan.
It's really important, especially on the road. We need road victories and, hopefully take care of home court. But I think so far we're doing well with all the new faces we have.
Maccabi Electra's guard was absolutely unstoppable, scoring 17 points in 22 minutes with an almost perfect field goals performance. He added 3 rebounds and 3 assists.
I just took good shots. I didn't force anything, and I just took what the defense gave me. If they gave me a shot, I took it. If a drive, I took it.
Another newcomer, Besiktas, found themselves in a similar situation to Shalon Susaon, as the Turkish champions faced another Euroleague great, Regal Barcelona. Kurtis Jarrells and his teammates came to Spain with a perfect 2-0 record and were ready to fight to keep the first place in the group, relying on the amazing start from the American guard. Jarrells is averaging 20 points per game, and he's proving that he deserves his new status as a starter.
This year I'm the starter, but whoever starts the game doesn't mean anything. I think it's how you finish the game. So, Coach does a great job of evaluating us, putting us in, the right positions to be successful.
Kurtis and his new team are ready to face two legitimate title contenders. CSKA Moscow will travel to Istanbul next week, but last Thursday it was the turn of the Turkish side to fly to Barcelona. A great benchmark team for Jarrells and his teammates to face.
Those are the games that you want to play. You want to, those two clubs are very big and have been very successful. I think they were both Final Four last season. You want to show your stuff and show that you can compete.
The game turned into a defensive battle. Jarrells finished with 18 points but was forced into a poor shooting performance. When two teams match their intensity, what usually happens is that the most talented team wins. Barcelona took its third success with 4 men in double digits, led by Nathan Jawai with 14. Staying in Group D, CSKA also scored a third victory by defeating Brose Baskets 76-67, thanks to a 13-0 run in the closing minutes. But there's another team with a perfect record that deserves a special mention. Žalgiris Kaunas have never started a regular season with 3 victories until this year. The Lithuanians managed their second success on the road this season, devastating Olympiakos Piraeus in Greece with a 14-0 run in the last quarter to climb to a 22-point lead. Marko Popovic and his teammates could be the most overlooked team so far, but they have a lot of experienced players that can lead the team on a surprising march.
All the great players with great experience definitely can bring a lot of stability to the team. I believe the crucial games, like when it's a tight game, they can really help you, especially on a free throw line. Those are not guys that they're going to miss a lot of free throws at the end of the game. And definitely, if we're going to be healthy with them, everything's going to be fine.
Žalgiris eventually won 79-61 at the Peace and Friendship Stadium, behind 16 points from Popovic. Now, after such a great start, what is the new goal for this team?
What is our maximum? It's really hard to say because there are also other teams fighting for it, but hopefully we're gonna reach that maximum. And of course, if we're not gonna have injuries during the season, definitely we can do something good. What is that? I really cannot say.
In Group A, Fenerbahce Ulka Istanbul was also looking to stay undefeated after 3 weeks of competition, but they had to deal with a very hungry Real Madrid. The runner-up last year in the Spanish league won in a convincing 83-75 effort in Turkey, sending a message to everybody: you have to square up with the Casablanca if you want to raise the Euroleague trophy in May. Real Madrid is the only team that can count in its roster 2 Rising Star Award winners. In fact, Nikola Mirotic won it in the last 2 seasons, while Rudy won it in 2007, playing with Juventud Badalona. Almost 5 years later, Rudy Fernandez returned to the Euroleague, playing 8 games with Real Madrid. It wasn't enough to earn him a return this year. He made an outstanding contribution on Thursday night in Istanbul, and even his statistics are not enough to describe what Rudy did in the game. The quality of his 5 assists added to his 21 points are the perfect essence of his complete maturity as a star, and a leader who can be effective by making plays for himself and also making his teammates better. With his performance index rating of 30, he is our BWin Co MVP of the week. Want to know who the other one is? Fernando San Emeterio may not have the natural talent of Rudy Fernandez. He's another kind of player. The Caja Laboral forward is a working-class basketball star. As a leader of Caja Laboral, he had to put his team in a position to survive a very dangerous game at EA7 Emporio Armani Milan. Developing year after year, Fernando is now a great all-round contributor in what is his 5th season with Vitória.
I always try to be an all-around player. I try to improve my game in every areas, and I think now I'm in a good moment. I can rebound, I can assist, I can score, so I can play defense. So I try to be all-around player.
With an index rating of 30, he equaled Rudy Fernandez's performance to share the BWin MVP award this week. But most importantly, he led Caja Laboral to a much-needed success, 95-85. His overall display in Italy showed off his wide repertoire, which led him into the Euroleague first team in 2011.
When I was a kid, I didn't think I can be in the first Euroleague team, and it was real award for me, and I tried to get another one, especially for my team. It means that we arrived so far in Euroleague.
As a Vitória fan, Fernando can be a hero, but San Emeterio stays humble and he knows that he must not change his attitude.
I don't feel like a superstar because my mentality is to work hard, to play hard every day, and if you feel like a superstar, it's when you stop working.
Despite a brilliant effort by Ioannis Borousis, who's averaging about 19 points and 9 rebounds in only 24 minutes per game, Caja Laboral came back in the game after trailing by 11 points in the second quarter, and despite the injury to Andrei Nocioni. In addition to San Emeterio, Nemanja Bjelica stunned EA7 with a brilliant performance, scoring career highs in points, rebounds and index rating. He finished the game with 20 points and 9 boards, showing off all of his wonderful talent as he made most of the crucial plays of the game in the clutch moments. Nemanja and Fernando put Milan in trouble and led Vitória to the first victory of the season.
The good thing that we won and how we won. We show, character. We just play 40 minutes strong, with confidence. We scored some important shots, but the most important thing that we stopped in last 5 minutes their plays.
Two legends, Dusan Ivkovic and Željko Obradovic, have taken a season's rest. Bozidar Malkovic, who won 4 Euroleague titles with 3 different teams, Jugoplastika of Split, Limoges and Panathinaikos, decided to get back into Euroleague, bringing plenty of experience to Cedevita Zagreb.
I really want to work with young players to make them mature, both as men and as players, because both things are extremely important. When I'm no longer motivated, I'll give up basketball forever, because I know myself too well. At the moment, the fact that I can stay in the gym with the players is a reason alone to celebrate.
Cedevita had a tough start, playing 2 out of 3 games on the road, including the 85-66 defeat to Anadolu Efes. It was not the easiest way to start the competition, but Coach Malkovic is now looking only at the win-loss record. He wants his team to play in the right way.
If we lose, but we play well, I will still be happy with my team, especially if we've played against some very strong opponents. My philosophy has always been the same. The day of the match is a celebration, and you have to go to bed at night content with what you've done on the court, regardless of the result.
The Croatian team has been built around mixing some players with Euroleague experience and some rookies. It needs a lot of time and, above all, a lot of work. Luka Babic and Luka Andrić are two perfect examples of what Cedevita is made of and what the team could become in the future.
Babic, por ejemplo, que fichamos de mi ciudad, Split.
Babic, who's from my city, Split, is very talented. And if he works hard, then I'm sure he'll become an important player for European basketball. Luka Andrić plays for the Croatian national team. And if he can improve his defensive game, he can also become an important player for big European teams.
The greatness of Malkovic's work is that he won in very different ways during his career. He capitalized on the enormous talent of Jugoplastika with players such as Toni Kukoc and Dino Radja. Then he led Limoges to a miracle in 1993. The way that the French team controlled the rhythm of the games labelled Božidar Malkovic as an all-defense coach. But that's not true.
My style has always been the same. Good defense, fast break whenever possible, and a way of playing against well-organized defenses, made up of logic and discipline.
Coach Malkovic loves his work and he loves the game. He also loves to spend a lot of time in Marbella, Spain, together with his friends from the world of sport.
Sabas está Torremolinos, está Radomir Antić, Nikola Lončar, Darko Kovačević, está Zoran Savić, está Dejan Tomašević. Todos. Guti, Alberto Herrero, Laia de Duque, sí.
Let's stay very close to Marbella as we head to Malaga, where Unicaja hosted Montepaschi Siena, looking for a first victory at home. A home where a player came back after roaming around Spain for 10 years. We are talking about Šemi Urtasun, of course. In 2002, he signed from Malaga, but he never played there, being loaned out on each of his contract years.
It was a tough period, from my career, With 18 years old, you want to play with in the best competitions possible, and the ECB is the best competition in Spain. And it was difficult, to have to go to second division or to other teams.
After such a long wandering career, he finally came back to Unicaja last summer. It must be something really special for Šemi, and he's conscious of that.
I'm able to come here and play, and finally, 10 years later, everything is ready to play here and to show everybody that I'm able to be here.
Luckily, he won't be alone on this return. Another former Malaga's second-team player came back to Andalusia last summer, Fran Vázquez, who first signed for the club in 2001.
It's a good news to have Fran on my same team. We played together for 3-4 years when we have 18, 17 and 16 years old. So we know each other how to play.
The old friends played their part in Friday's defeat of Siena. Šemi scoring 9 points, Fran 8, including a dunk in the last minute of regular time. Unicaja can't afford to lose again at home. Montepaschi was still without a win. That's why the Italians tried to take the advantage early on and try and keep it until the fourth quarter, when an unbelievable 14-0 run allowed coach Jasmin Repeza's men to come back. Then it was a head-to-head duel until the end. Siena's Bobby Brown forced overtime with a spectacular layup. Then Marcus Williams and Earl Calloway became the heroes of the game for Unicaja. The former scoring a big three-pointer, the latter putting away the last 5 points in a 91-89 victory. If Siena fell short in Malaga, Week 3 meant the first smiles of the season for 3 teams. Staying in Group B, Asseco Prokom stopped the surprising Alba Berlin behind a double-double by the American guard Jarrell Blasingame. He produced one of the best performances of this round, scoring 16 points and 10 assists, including a decisive long-range shot to secure the victory for his side. the Polish finally won 77-66. In Group D, Lietuvos Rytas Vilnius successfully defended its home court against Partizan MTS Belgrade, another team in search of its first success, 69-61. The big man Predrag Samedziski scored a career-high 14 points in Euroleague against his former team, leading the Lithuanians who made a first step en route to a top 16 qualification. In Desio, Mapooro Cantu had a do-or-die task: win against the dangerous Himki Moscow region or stay as the only winless team in Group A. The Italians needed a lot of heart to avoid a second defeat at home, but the players know they can rely on the incredible enthusiasm of their fans, and every player who walks in endorses the history of the two-time European champion club.
I think it puts a little bit of pressure just because when you walk in, you see how accomplished the club is. You want to make sure that you take the club to another level. So it brings a little bit of pressure, good pressure, but it adds a little bit of excitement knowing that you got something to live up to.
Without doubt, the Mapooro players take part of their strength from their supporters, and a veteran like Nicolas Mazzarino is now part of that family for good.
Oi, 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 Mazzarino segna per noi.
Mission accomplished for the Italian side. They won 67-54 with a great defensive effort behind 13 points scored by Pietro Aradori, who added 8 of the 40 rebounds for his team and was the leading scorer for Cantu for the third straight time. He's getting a bigger role in Cantu after his 2 years in Siena, and he feels very comfortable as a go-to guy.
I like this role because I can help the team with my style of playing, with my experience in Europe, and I think that my teammates will appreciate that.
Now let's take a look at our weekly Turkish Airlines top 3 plays.
Number 3, Moscow, Russia. A perfect pick and roll by Broza Baskets. John Goldsberry to Latuvius Williams for the slam in traffic. Number 2, Piraeus, Greece. Check out the big play by Tremel Darden of Zalgiris. Crossover and the high-flying dunk. And the number 1 play of the week, Malaga, Spain. He's back. James Gist of Unicaja comes off the baseline and beats the entire Montepaschi defense with a reverse dunk.
That's it for now, but before we leave you, let's look ahead to the next game of the week. The next game of the week pits 2 Turkish Airlines Euroleague classics, Caja Laboral Vitoria of Spain and visiting Anadolu Efes Istanbul of Turkey, playing each other for the first time in 5 years. Historically, the two sides have been evenly matched, with 6 previous regular season games between them split right down the middle, 3 victories each. That parity was evident last decade, when Efes either made the Final Four or came very close every season between 2000 and 2005. Once, a single shot kept Efes out of it, but it remains Turkey's only Final Four club ever. Caja Laboral started last decade just as well in the 2001 Euroleague playoff finals, but waited until 2005 to make a first Final Four. Laboral obviously enjoyed the experience of upsetting CSKA in Moscow in that year's title semi-finals and continued to build the second longest string of consecutive Final Four appearances ever, 4. Turkish fans know Laboral as the team that took the only Turkish players to the Final Four in the last 10 years, Serkan Erdogan and Kaya Peker in 2007. Peker played a total of 8 seasons at Efes without matching that feat. Both are teams for who anything less than the Final Four isn't enough. This season, Efes is scoring in bunches and knocked off champ Olympiacos by 26 points in Week 2. 4 players in that game, Jordan Farmer, Dusko Savanovic, Sasha Vujacic and Semi Erden, scored 13 points or more. Efes has since lost centre Stanko Barac to injury, however, so is down one key player heading to Spain. Laboral has had a tougher start due to injuries, the worst of which saw team leader Andres Nocioni wheeled away on a stretcher last Thursday after getting hurt in the neck. But then his teammates, led by Nemanja Bjelica and Fernando Sanemeterio, rallied for their first victory on the road in Milan. Also back from their earlier encounters to match wits again are Dusko Ivanovic of Laboral and Oktay Mahmouti of Efes, who combined 17 seasons on the same benches. It's a return encounter with plenty at stake for both teams as Caja Laboral hosts Anadolu Efes in the next game of the week.
Turkish Airlines Euroleague.